Well, hello there, Blade Gang. This old sword with you. And we're taking another look at a very interesting Hogue made for SIG model. This is the K320 series. And I thought it would be good to compare the auto, which you see on the bottom, with the manual in tanto that you see at the top. Now, the K320 is an internal design, I believe, by Hogue, and it is meant to pair with the popular P320 firearm by SIG. Now, this is also known as the M17 military designation for that firearm. These knives are available in a Nitron black, a tactical gray, and coyote tan. So you can see quite a variety of them. We're going to do our own measurements today, and I do have some measurements I just pulled up here on Knife Center. Some of the things we won't be able to measure is that these both come, or one of them, the manual, comes with an able lock. Now, while many of these were designed by Alan Olishewicz, not these, but many Hogue knives were designed by Alan Olishewicz, I don't see his mark on these blades, so again, that's my assumption that these are SIG, or rather Hogue designs, maybe in concert with SIG. I don't have the whole backstory on that. I wish I did. Maybe a little further research will turn that up. So, as I mentioned, this knife is very popular. It sports Hogue's proprietary polymer, which is kind of an FRN, fiberglass reinforced nylon, but it is so tough they've driven trucks over it with no damage. It's just extremely rigid. It's a glass-filled nylon, and they cast in a very aggressive grip, but it's not so much that it abrades clothing. You can see it on both the flat and up near the spine of the handle. We have a number of screws that are holding it together. The very neat thing about this, one of a few at least, is the clip, which is the most unusual clip that I've seen that is extremely useful. So it was built with withdrawing the knife from the pocket in mind, or withdrawing it from web gear, mollies, or wherever you have it stashed. These little scallops here grip. So when you grab it with your thumb and you pull, you're not slipping off of that clip. The clip is not overly long. It's actually on the short side. This is going to apply to both knives, by the way. They're made in the US. There's the flag. Lanyard hole. And we got a good amount of tension on the clip that allows it to be held securely to whatever you clip it to. So, as I mentioned, this is the auto version, button lock with a safety. In some conditions in the field, you're going to need a safety, maybe jumping out of a plane or what have you. You don't want that knife to actuate accidentally, and then you can always take that safety off later on. 4 positions for that clip, if I hadn't mentioned it, and these are brass inserts at all 4 attachment points, so you can carry this tip up, tip down, left and right. Really amazing that they went that far with the design. I mean, this is a knife that's built on function. Very usable finger choil with a stop there for your finger, so you're not sliding onto that blade. Those that prefer a sharpening choil may not like that, but you know, I can get my KME stone in there without having to run off the edge. You can grip these back, you can grip these up, and you've got some great jimping actually built into the handle and a little bit of the thumb ramp onto the blade. Now they leave the holes in both blades. The hole was sort of designed for the manual version, so here we have the Able Lock version. This blade happens to be a tanto. I believe you can get the auto in a tanto as well, and you can get them both in the tan with the gray blades, so a lot of variety there. Same exact handle, with the exception of the fact, well, not exactly the same. You can see that the auto is cut out for the button and the lock, whereas here we have only the Able Lock. Roll it out easily with the thumb, and you can middle finger flick it. There's a little bit of resistance there, so it isn't like, because of the Able Lock, very similar to the Axis lock on Benchmade. It holds it in nicely, but there's no sharp break with the detent the way that you have on a traditional liner lock or frame lock. Same built-in jimping, same jimping on the blade, same handle other than the cutouts being a little bit different for the Able Lock versus the auto. Same clip. The thing is, you simply make a choice on blade style and deployment method. We're going to do a few quick measurements. I could easily get these off of either Blade HQ or Knife Center, but just to have some fun, we'll do some measurements and see if we've got any differences in measurements. It's exactly 8 inches tip to tail on the auto version, and it is exactly 8 inches tip to tail on the tanto version, so a lot of consistency there. And the blade length, 3.5 inches on the manual tanto, and 3.5 inches, what do you know, on the auto version with the drop point. Thicknesses and weights. So blade thickness in millimeters going to be consistent. I've got 3.1, well, let's see what's happening there. 3.0 flat. It's going to be the same on each, I'm quite sure. Handle thickness, these aren't too thick. Just over a 1/2 inch, 0.55. I'm going to think that it's the same. Well, 0.56 just depends upon where you're grabbing it. Yeah, 0.55, so that's consistent. And how about weights? Let's see if the weights are consistent. So here we have the drop point auto, 3.815, and on the manual, 3.790. So slightly heavier on the auto version. May have to do with the button, the mechanism for the auto, not sure, but you know, call them both 3.8 and hard to go wrong there. These come through with a fine edge, by the way, didn't mention it, but they're both S30V. Make sure of that. And they're both serial numbered. Yeah, they're not putting the blade steel on them. Let me see. Here's the manual. Yeah, they're not or maybe they are. There it is, CPM S30V. Sorry about that. Let's see if we've got the same thing here. Yep, I missed it. CPM S30V, made in the USA. Just, these are getting a great reputation with military and police. They're just a really functional, hard use knife. You can EDC these all day long. I think they're great EDC knives. You got a terrific purchase on it. Great ergos, either grip. Back out just a bit here. And there you have the K320A and the K320, manual and automatic versions of the knife that was made for the military, based on the P320 SIG, also known as the M17. And if I missed anything here, drop me a note in the notes, and feel free to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll catch you soon. This Old Sword, signing out.